Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Friday, September 26th. Another great week of games in store for all of us. Didn't think I'd be saying this, but the 1-3 Ravens going against the 1-3 Chiefs, the fact that, wait, now they're both 1-2. I'm a week ahead at this point. One of them will be 1-3 a month into the season. We have some new fresh blood starting at QB for the Giants, and we have some absolutely terrible Monday Night Football games, which we unfortunately do have to talk about. First ever game in Dublin, too. Lots to unpack for this Week 4 preview. And as always, NFL Weekly Update. We're finally winding down a little bit for the NFL Weekly Update. A lot less news. And then, of course, the blind Thursday Night Football recap between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. I think Miami and the Cardinals are both wearing their rivals jerseys this week, so those will be fun to see how those look on TV. But good week of football, as always. But let's start off with the NFL Weekly Update here. Texans safety CJ Gardner-Johnson gets cut from the team. Just months after the Texans traded for him, moved Kenyon Green and some picks. Either way, not a move that a lot of people expected to see this week, but it kind of makes sense. CJ Gardner-Johnson loves to talk shit, but he's a very me type guy. And yeah, that's just kind of what it came down to. Blown assignments in coverage and him not taking the blame, passing the blame off, or it's always someone else's issue. He just seems like he's a dysfunctional player to have in your locker room, especially when things aren't going well, which it's currently not going well for the Texans. And yeah, I don't think the Texans need someone like that in their locker room at the moment. Obviously, they gave up a little bit to get him and thought that he'd at least play the entire season, but no, he'll find a job elsewhere. He will get re-signed. Like, he is still a good player. It's just, again, he's a bit of a head case. He's a bit of a nut, but every team has a few crazy people on it, and well, maybe not the Texans anymore, but that's CJ Gardner-Johnson. Mike Hilton goes to the Colts. Former Bengal, signed with Miami for literally a few weeks, and then we cut him. And now he is in Indianapolis, back with his former Bengals DC, Lou Anarumo. Mike Hilton just knows what Lou wants to run. I don't think the Colts have any secondary injuries that I'm aware of, so this is just kind of like a depth signing for them. Like, he will play, obviously, behind Kenny Moore and Charvarius Ward, and they have another guy in there too. But like, Mike Hilton coming in is like their fourth, fifth corner probably. Good depth signing, knows the system, knows Lou Anarumo. Lou Anarumo knows him. Good fit. We'll keep going here. The Jets trade a 2026 sixth-round pick to the Titans for Jarvis Brownlee and a 26th seventh. A lot of Titans fans upset over this one, and it's not because Jarvis Brownlee is like some exceptional corner and like, how do you let him go? He's a fine corner. I think he was a rookie last year, so only in his second year. He might be in his third year. Regardless, he's still a young player on his rookie deal who is, he is a starter. Is he a good starter, a great starter? No. But you just need bodies. You need average starters out there. So the fact that the Titans gave him up for essentially nothing doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And again, there's a lot that the Titans are doing that don't make a ton of sense to me. And we'll talk about more about the Titans when we get to the Titans. But yeah, Titans get rid of him. The Jets absolutely need corner help. They have Sauce Gardner. He's great, but he's been, again, we saw like the high peaks of Sauce a couple years ago, and last year and the start of this year haven't been again, that great. They've been good, but not to the expectations we have of him. Brandon Stevens, they gave a big contract to. He absolutely stinks. So maybe this starts to take away some of Jarvis Brown or some of Brandon Stevens' snaps. Good move for the Jets. Like when you have an entire fan base being like, why did we cut him? Why did we trade him? Yeah, you kind of feel good on the other if you're the other team in that trade. This is kind of like I said it on Wednesday's show, but like the Family Guy with the mystery box, where like, yeah, you get a 6th for Jarvis Brownlee, and that 6th could just be Jarvis Brownlee. It's just weird transaction, doesn't make a ton of sense to me either way. Next note up here, Desmond Watson, if you remember the big 450-pounder out of Florida. UDFA was with the Bucs all camp. Didn't practice with them, though, because they wanted him to meet whatever weight threshold they had for him. He's finally met that. And, of course, it comes at the point where they play the Eagles and they play the tush push. And everyone is hoping that when they get into that 3rd and short, 4th and short, that they put Desmond Watson on the field right next to Vita Vea and just try to put so much weight in front of that offensive line where it won't work. I'm very interested to see if they do. I doubt he'll get activated like immediately. That seems crazy to be like, hi, you were with us the entire summer, but you didn't practice with us the entire summer. Here, we'll sign you a week before the game, and now you're starting against the Eagles. And again, he won't be starting. He will only probably be playing in short yardage situations, but I'm interested to see if he does play, if he doesn't play, what his role will be in the future. But either way, good for Desmond Watson getting on the team. Younghoe Koo, I've kind of already talked about it, but he has been cut from the Falcons, and he has since signed to the Giants practice squad. Graham Gano tweaked his hamstring in warmups. He battled out that Monday. Did he battle out that Monday night game? I literally can't remember. But either way, with the kicker injury, might as well just bring in someone to be a potential replacement. Younghoe Koo has aura. Don't know if he's a good kicker, but he has aura anyways. Jadeveon Clowney, as soon as he gets to Dallas, what happens? He gets arrested. He didn't get arrested in Dallas, but I was making the joke of like, oh, now that he's a Cowboy, of course he's going to get arrested because the Cowboys don't have a very good track record with off-field stuff. But he gets arrested for misdemeanor trespassing and failure to identify. So he got arrested in his hometown of, I think it's Rock Hill, South Carolina. The misdemeanor trespassing, that literally means nothing to me. Failure to identify, though. I'm just going to go on and say I have no idea. I don't know who else from Rock Hill has done anything of note, but I'll just go and say that, yeah, Jadeveon Clowney's probably the most famous person to have ever lived in Rock Hill, be from Rock Hill. Again, I have no idea. He should not have to identify himself. You should just know who Jadeveon Clowney is. Oh, who's that big 6'5", 250-pound freak? Oh, that's Jadeveon Clowney. Oh, of course it is. Like, I don't think many people fit his description. I don't know. I just think that being arrested for, again, misdemeanor trespassing and then failure to identify yourself, like, that's Jadeveon fucking Clowney. You should know, if you are from Rock Hill, South Carolina, who Jadeveon Clowney is. So, bad on the cops. I mean, it's usually always bad on the cops, but we'll keep going. Mohamed Sanu retires from the league. He hasn't been playing for the last couple of years, but finally calling it a career, and he had a very good career. Ended up with 435 career catches, 4,871 yards, 27 TDs. I forget how long he played for. I think he played probably close to 14 years. That makes sense. I'm not going to go look it up because I really don't care about Mohamed Sanu. No offense, Mohamed Sanu, but like, yeah. It is a notable name because, again, he had some productive years with the Bengals and with the Falcons, and then he gets traded for a second-round pick to the Patriots, and I don't know why the Patriots ever gave up a seventh-round pick. I think Amari Cooper, like a few months later, got traded for a fifth. Yeah, the ending of the Belichick years were very funny for New England, at least in my opinion anyways. But yeah, I think the most notable thing I can talk about Mohamed Sanu, other than get trading for a second-round pick, but he finished his career with 7 completions on 8 attempts for 233 yards and 4 passing TDs. Like, that stat line, that's one of the best QB stat lines you could possibly have. Like 7 completions for 233 yards and 4 TDs. Like electric. Yeah, he was a fun player. Never a 1,000-yard receiver. Had a couple 700 yards and 800-yard season. But again, consistently good player. Will not make the Hall of Very Good, but if I had a Hall of Average, that would be Mohamed Sanu. And finally, sad note to end on here, but former Bengals running back Rudy Johnson found dead at the age of 45. Me personally, I don't know a lot about Rudy Johnson. I had to look it up and who was this? What was his career like? And started off in college, so he was like a JUCO player. Had a couple really good seasons in junior college. Finally transferred to Auburn, kind of in his senior year. Popped off at Auburn, got drafted by the Bengals, and unfortunately for him, only an 8-year career. And only 3 of those years he was really fully healthy. But in those 3 years, he basically averaged 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns. Again, it's the lifespan of a running back where, yeah, you can have these peak years, but the prolonged sustained success, it's hard to come by. Rudy Johnson, though, by all measures, a really, really good player. Honestly, will probably be a nominee for the Hall of Very Good. I mean, if I'm nominating guys who have had short careers like that and having 3 straight 1,400-yard, 12 TD seasons, like, that's awesome. And injuries shouldn't really knock you if you've had that impressive a career, even if it only was 3 years. Unfortunately, yeah, dead at 45, dead by suicide, which is, again, very, very sad. Talk to your loved ones, talk to your friends, get help if you need it. Never like seeing that. Yeah, ending on a sad note, but that is the NFL Weekly Update. Let's get into this blind Thursday night football recap here. Seahawks at Cardinals. I had a bunch of expectations for both of these teams going into the year, and one team has absolutely met my expectations so far, and the other team is still the Cardinals. And in this one, yeah, this Seahawks D put the Cardinals in a blender. No James Conner for the Cardinals in this one. It was all on second-year back Trey Benson, and he had his hands full. This Seahawks run defense really got the better of them, and then when you have to rely on Kyler passing, yeah, Marv made a couple nice plays. It was nice to see like him not drop the football, but the Seahawks were too much on defense, too much on offense. Jackson Smith-Njigba continues to lead the NFL in receiving yards. Another big 120-yard game for him in this one. Torrey Horton continues to be their deep threat. Another touchdown for him in this one, marking it 4 touchdowns in 3 games. Look out for Torrey Horton, man. I'm just saying. The Seahawks do win this one fairly easily. Final score, 24-14 for the Seahawks. That is your blind Thursday night football recap. Let's get into these Sunday games now. So, starting off, we have the first ever NFL game in Ireland, in Dublin. It is the Vikings. I was going to say at the Steelers, but the Vikings and the Steelers. Vikings minus 2.5, total set at 40.5. Carson Wentz versus Aaron Rodgers. What a matchup. Could have said that 8 years ago, and that actually would have been a good matchup. But in this one, it just isn't. Vikings, on one side, they get Jordan Addison back. So I already think that, again, they get Darisaw back this week. They get Addison back this week. Maybe the week after they get J.J. McCarthy back. But does J.J. McCarthy really need to come back? I don't know. Probably because I don't think Carson Wentz is actually any good anymore. He just plays for the Vikings and plays for Kevin O'Connell in this well-run offense. Yeah, unfortunately, I just do think the Vikings are going to win this one. I think that Brian Flores is going to have this Steelers offense in hell. I don't think the Steelers offense is really any good. I think that their offensive line, which is still very, very young, is not regressed, because you can't regress when most of your guys were like rookies last year, just really young players, but like they didn't get better. If anything, they plateaued a little bit, and that doesn't mean that they can't get better throughout the season. But as of right now, yeah, I'm taking Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel and Javon Hargrave and Dallas Turner and Jonathan Allen to handily beat that Steelers offensive line. That's not even mentioning Brian Flores and his bag of tricks and all the crap that he can pull. But yeah, I think that this Vikings defense is going to give the Steelers offense a ton of fits. And you might be thinking, well, the Steelers defense should be giving Carson Wentz and that offense a ton of fits too. And I really don't think so. I don't think that they have the guys outside to cover Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison now at this point, now that he is back. And their run defense has not been solid. Derek Harmon was a big help from them last week, but unfortunately, I think that this offensive line will be able to push them around just enough. Jordan Mason has looked very good last week. Again, they were playing... Who were they playing last week? Where, of course, they were the Bengals. Again, I can run for 5 yards against the Bengals. I actually think I might be able to. But that, regardless, Jordan Mason should have another good day on the ground. I just trust, again, when you're going head-to-head on rosters, I just think that there isn't a spot where the Steelers beat the Vikings. Maybe other than quarterback, but I still don't think that Aaron Rodgers is that good. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is much better than Carson Wentz, but Aaron Rodgers is still a bottom 10 quarterback, where Carson Wentz is like a bottom 3 starting quarterback at the moment. Regardless, I do think the Vikings win this one. Also, a name to look out for, Jalen Redmond, a defensive lineman for the Vikings. When people during the week, they post those analytic graphics, Jalen Redmond is consistently in the top right half, which is these guys are playing unreal, and he's... Who is he right beside? What other defensive tackle would be right there? Either way, Jalen Redmond having a great season. That's someone I'm going to keep an eye out for, and maybe you should look out for as well. We'll keep going here into the early afternoon games. Saints at Bills. Bills minus 15.5. Total set at 47.5. Yeah, that's a big line. Do the Saints absolutely suck? Yes they do. Are the Bills going to win? Yes they are. I have nothing really to talk about either side in this one. This might feel like a game where it gives the Saints an excuse to pull Spencer Rattler to put Tyler Shuck in. That's kind of my only takeaway from this game. The Bills are going to dominate them everywhere. This game might be closer than 15.5 points, just because 15.5 points is a lot of points. The Saints got embarrassed by the Seahawks last week, so maybe they play a little bit tougher. I don't know. This Saints team is very, very bad. The Bills are very, very good. I'm interested to see who ends up having a big game on the Bills. It should be the running backs. This might be like a Ty Johnson or Ray Davis get a touchdown and give just James Cook a bit of a break. That would be my lean anyways if I were to have one. Keep going here. Titans at Texans. Texans minus 7.5. Total set at 38.5. Did that line move? Okay, it has moved, but it went from 6.5 to 7.5. The Texans offense, if it were to have any chance of doing anything, giving me some hope for the rest of the season, I've been trying to trade away CJ Stroud in my 2 QB league just because I don't believe in the Texans offense, and now I'm partnering him with Nico Collins to give someone a stack. It hasn't been going well for me, so hopefully they do have a good game against the Titans defense and I'm able to trade them next week. But again, the Texans offense has been bad. They are going against a well put together or coached Titans team in general, so they should win. They should look easy for them. Cam Ward is going to have his hands full with this Texans pass rush. I do expect Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson to get at least a sack each. This probably looks like a team-wise, they'll probably get 4 sacks. I don't think the Titans are going to win this one. I think it could be a low-scoring game, the fact that... the total's at 38. I thought it was at 47 for some reason. Yeah, the total's at 38 for a reason. I think the Texans will win, but I don't think that they're going to score 20 points. And the Titans on the other side, they might get a touchdown, but that would be iffy at best. Brian Callahan might be a dead man walking at this point too. 3 games into the season, he has already given up play calling duties to, I guess, whoever their offensive coordinator is. It's a bad sign. There's a few things that can happen when like teams start being on the hot seat. You can do what the Dolphins did after week 1, which is literally have a players only meeting. You can do what the Falcons just did, where fire a meaningless coach and have their offensive coordinator who's been in the booth to be like, come down, we all need to be here together. Or you can do what Brian Callahan just did and give up your play calling duties to another person to be like, yeah, see, it's pretty hard, huh? But if you're Brian Callahan, the whole reason you were hired is because you're supposed to be able to run this offense, call the plays for this offense. Because that's kind of the whole point of hiring an offensive head coach, is because the play caller will always be consistent. If you're Brian Callahan and you're not calling the plays anymore, I don't understand the point of you. I do think that Brian Callahan will be the first head coach fired. I think that everything the Titans have done since they fired Rand Carthen has been absolutely wrong and bad. And yeah, this is kind of proving it. I think that, yeah, Brian Callahan probably doesn't make it to the end of October. I do think he'll probably be the first coach fired. It will be between him, McDaniel, and I think Raheem Morris probably. We'll see. Not looking good for the Titans. We'll keep going. Browns at Lions. Lions minus 9.5. Total set at 44.5. After a big moral victory, and it was an actual victory versus the Packers last week. They get another very tough NFC North matchup, but where this matchup differs is the Lions' offense is much more prolific than what the Packers are doing. Yeah, and the Browns' offense just can't move the ball in general. The Lions' defense is obviously much weaker than what the Packers are, but it's still going to be a blowout. I think the Lions should win this one very easily. Might be a lower rushing total game for Montgomery and Gibbs, just because this Browns pass rush and run defense has been so great through the first 3 weeks of the season. Again, they have their hands full with probably one of the best rushing attacks in the league and just the best offenses in general. And yeah, they will break at some point just because they always do. And if your offense isn't playing complementary football, your defense, wear and tear, things happen. So Lions should win this relatively easily anyways. Commanders at Falcons. Commanders minus 1.5. Total set at 44.5. Jane Daniels trending towards playing, but still iffy. But even if that, I still like the Falcons. Again, I don't believe in this Commanders defense whatsoever. I think that they played a very bad Raiders offensive line last week, and they were able to do some work, and now they're playing a slightly better, or they're playing a better offensive line in Atlanta, and I don't know, they should win. I'll backtrack here. They shouldn't win. They shouldn't be an easy win for the Falcons, but if I'm going to pick the home team in this one. Terry McLaurin also banged up. I don't know if he's playing where, if Jane Daniels is playing banged up, or if Terry McLaurin's banged up, or one of them just doesn't even play, or both of them don't even play. The Falcons should win. This, you would think, would be a big bounce-back game for Michael Penix, but I think that Michael Penix sucks. So I don't know. I talked about the Falcons coaching staff. They fired their wide receivers coach. And now, Zach Robinson, they want him down on the field instead of in the booth calling plays. It sounds like a team that's scrambling. And again, scrambling 3 weeks into the season. Not great. Not great, at least for Miami's sake. There hasn't been any actual changes in moves. They just had a players-only meeting, which still not great. But this is good. This is a game I literally have no idea who's going to win. I don't like either of these teams. I lean towards the Falcons just because I do believe they have more talent in general on both sides of the ball. But I do think, again, Jane Daniels, the better quarterback, Dan Quinn, the better head coach, and when you have the better quarterback and head coach, you're just more likely to win the game, but we'll see. Next game up here, Eagles at Buccaneers. Eagles minus 3.5, total set at 43.5. No Mike Evans for the Bucs in this one. He has a hamstring issue. He'll be out for the next couple weeks. But lucky for them, Chris Godwin, full participant. So now Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka. Again, it's still a very, very good tandem. In a couple weeks, they'll have to wait to get Mike Evans back and then get Tristan Wirfs back, and then this offense will be rolling probably. Now, they do play the Eagles and their great front seven. Unfortunately, without Nolan Smith, he has hit IR. Will be on IR for a while, it seems. I think early November was the date that I saw. The Bucs do always give Eagles trouble. But what I saw from the Eagles in that second half of last week, I'm like, that's the Eagles I remember with the passing attack. Again, the running game wasn't going. But if they can play some complementary football on offense, that would be great. Again, I'm excited to see Desmond Watson try to stop the tush push. I just want to see him on the field. I don't know if he'll be on the field, but that's what I'm excited for. I don't think I have anything really else much to touch on in this one. This is going to be a very, very exciting game. I am hoping this game is on TSN so I can watch it and then have Red Zone on another screen, but we will see. Panthers at Patriots. Patriots minus 5.5. Total set at 42.5. Has this line shifted a lot? Started at 4.5, back to 5.5. Regardless. Yeah, I think Christian Gonzalez is trending towards playing. That is obviously huge. Because when I look at... Nope, those are just the Panthers guys. Christian Gonzalez, what is happening with you? Trending towards a Week 4 return. And now, Tet McMillan didn't practice yesterday because of a calf issue. And again, maybe he'll be fine, he'll play. But Gonzo is going to be covering Tet. And then all of a sudden, Bryce has no one to throw to. I think this is the first game. If Gonzo plays, he should be shadowing Tet literally 100% of the game. It'll probably be closer to 90, but whatever. I don't see the Panthers winning this game. I think that this is finally going to be the Travion Henderson breakout game. I think that Kyle Williams is going to get involved a little bit more. Things need to get shaken up on this Patriots offense. It has looked too stagnant, too much like the last few years. Get some new blood in there, even if they are rookies, even if they don't know the playbook maybe as well as some of these vets. But yeah, get the fresher legs in there. Let's get a little bit of burst and youthfulness from this offense, finally. I just don't see a way that the Panthers do end up winning this game. Their defense did play better last week. They let... Again, they held the Falcons to 0, and again, I'm interested to see how this Panthers defense plays for a second consecutive week, but I just think that the Patriots defense is already better than the Panthers defense, and I think that their offense is also better, so I am interested to see, again, it's probably going to be a sloppy matchup, plus 5.5, maybe. I'll probably just avoid this game in general, plus 5.5. If I did have a lean, it would probably be that, but we'll keep going. Chargers at Giants. Chargers minus 6.5. Total set at 43.5. Jackson Dart is making his debut. Very interested to see how that goes. This is essentially, again, if Jackson Dart doesn't look like the guy within a month, Brian Dable, Joe Shane should both be fired. Jackson Dart is coming in to essentially save their jobs. A lot of pressure on him. And in his first start, he is going against Jesse Minter, who is, also one of these madmen. Again, I don't put anyone in the Brian Flores category of doing, truly crazy shit on defense. But Jesse Minter deserves his flowers, too. Dart will have his hands full. Fortunately for him, the offensive line looks more healthy. Andrew Thomas is back. They still have Malik Neighbors, obviously. Wandale has been good. Cam Scattaboo in the backfield. Dart will have options, and Dart is going to look better than Russ Wu. He should look better than Russell Wilson. If he doesn't look better than Russell Wilson, then the Brian Dable and Joe Shane get fired by October. Is what it is. Ton of pressure on the rookie. The Chargers offense should be able to roll, should be able to kind of just do what they've been doing. They got tested, though, last week against the Broncos, and this Broncos defense, who, again, their pass rush is very good. Nick Bonito gave Joe Alt some trouble for kind of Joe Alt looking in trouble for the first time this season, and now he has to go against Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter. It'll be a good matchup. Dexter Lawrence, too, on that interior. It'll be a good matchup. Yeah, the Chargers should absolutely win this one. Again, just interested to see how Jackson Dart plays in general. He'll have a tough matchup, but if he comes out looking pretty good, then yeah, maybe Dable has some confidence in having a job next year. Into the later afternoon games here. Good, we have 4 late afternoon games, as it should be. Jags at Niners. Niners minus 3.5. Total set of 47.5. I feel an upset brewing. And maybe that's not totally fair. I mean, it's definitely fair. No Nick Bosa now for this Niners defense hurts them so much. And unless Michael, really takes a step up in his absence and Bryce Huff kind of plays how he played 2 years ago when he was also with Saleh and the Jets and again all of these younger players. If everyone steps up with the absence of Nick Bosa, great. That's fantastic. But it'll be tough. And the Jags offense has been playing very well. The numbers and the stats don't really point to it, but when you lead the league in drops, you leave a lot to be desired on the field. The offensive line has been playing very well. The running game has been great. This Niners defense will have its hands full. I can guarantee you that. And the Niners offense on the other side is Mac Jones trending towards playing. He was still limited yesterday in his work. So now we're okay, yeah, Mac Jones might play. Oh, I'm not even talking about Mac Jones. No. Where's Brock Purdy? That's who I care about. But yeah, Brock Jones. Mac Jones is also hurt in this one. There's Brock Purdy. Yeah, Brock Purdy also limited on Wednesday. So could be Brock Purdy, could be Mac Jones. Ricky Pearsall also has a knee injury. Didn't practice yesterday, so I have no idea what his status is going to be for Sunday. But yeah, if Pearsall isn't playing, Kittle's not playing, Juwan Jennings might play. There's so much up in the air right now for the 49ers in who's going to be out there for that offense, and that worries me. The Jags, I know who's going to be out there. I know who's starting. Their defense has been playing very well, too. Again, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Devin. Again, they have guys. They have a bunch of guys on their team, and this unit has been playing very well. I thought they were going to be a great defense last year. They absolutely weren't, and now they still have all those same guys, and now it's looking like a much better unit. I am going to take the Jags, though. I think that they can have a good game against the Nick Bosa-less Niners defense. The Niners offense, I think, will have their hands full with the Jags defense, especially with if Pearsall doesn't play, if Jennings doesn't play, if Purdy's still out, it could be a tough test for this team. Going from the East Coast to the West Coast on a road game, again, it's tough, but yeah, I'll take the Jags in this one. Colts at Rams. Rams minus 3.5. Total set at 50.5. This is truly the first big test for the Colts this year. Where the Rams are a good team. The Rams are going to play very well, very efficient football, smart football, know what they're doing, not be a bunch of dumb idiots like Miami. And let's see how the Colts respond. Week 4 is usually around the time where it's okay, put up or shut up. Are you a real team, or are you going to regress and Daniel Jones is going to turn into a pumpkin again? I think the Colts are just going to be like the Vikings of last year, where I have always said, and I have been saying for years, that the Colts and Chris Ballard have assembled a good roster. They just haven't been able to figure out the quarterback since Andrew Luck retired, which has been years and years and years now. But the core of this roster has always been solid. And now they're getting just average QB play again. This is basically like Daniel Jones was playing like old man Phillip Rivers. Yeah, the Colts should be, again, it's a very good test. I'm interested to see, again, how the offense plays against the defense, how the Colts defense plays against the Rams offense. It will be very tough. Am I going to pick the Rams? Yes, I think the Rams are better coached. They got the better quarterback. I'm going to pick them. But yeah, I would not count the Colts out in this one. I do think this will be a close game. If the Rams do blow them out, though, that's kind of it for me on the Colts. I think that they'll still be a good team, but I'm not putting them in. Again, I don't think they're really contenders anyways, but a high-end playoff team still probably out of the Colts still might win a playoff game. Again, we got so much time to talk about the rest of the season and make projections and blah, blah, blah. But the Colts actually have a first real test. I hope that they kind of show up. They don't have to win in this one. They just have to show that, we are this team. We are a good team. Let's go on to the next game. Bears at Raiders. Bears minus 1.5. Total set at 47.5. I do not know why the Bears are only 1.5 point favorites. I mean, at some points during the week, Ben Johnson came out in a press conference yesterday and been like, we're underdogs on the road to this team. The Bears should not be underdogs on the road to this team. The Raiders' defense absolutely stinks. Again, it is Max Crosby out there with a bunch of bums, and this Raiders offense is also bad. Again, do they have the guys? Yes, they have Geno Smith. They got Brock Bowers. They have Jacoby Myers. Trey Tucker has been playing really good. Aston Jeanty, has been playing well, except this Raiders offensive line is just so bad, it doesn't really allow for anything to happen. What I saw from Caleb and the Bears last week on offense, I think that they'll be able to kind of replicate what they did against the Cowboys, because the Raiders also have no one who can cover. So Rome should be getting open, DJ Moore should be getting open, Luther Burden should be getting open, just people should be getting open in general. I think the Bears win this one quite easily. I would like to hope that the Raiders show some fight on offense anyways, because this Bears defense has been kind of trending in the wrong direction since the start of the season, since Jalen Johnson has been put on IR anyways. They just haven't really been getting after the quarterback, and that might just be what the Raiders need to show a little bit of fight, but at the end of the day, I do think that the Bears are just going to be too much for this team in general. So I am definitely taking the Bears minus 1.5. The battle of the 1 and 2 teams, the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Ravens minus 2.5, total set at 48.5. Is Xavier Worthy trending towards playing? I believe he is. Is he not even on the injury report anymore? Okay, so Xavier Worthy, not even on the injury report anymore. So he is absolutely good to go. That is a big boost for the Chiefs offense. Now, I think that how this is going to work is Worthy is going to go kind of back into the Rashee Rice role. Taekwon Thornton will still be playing the over-top deep routes, and then in a couple weeks when Rashee Rice does come back, Rashee Rice will obviously take the Rashee Rice role, and Xavier Worthy will then be doing all of the deep, intermediate type routes regardless. There's no Rashee Rice in this one, so it is Xavier Worthy now is the best offensive player for the Chiefs, not including Patrick Mahomes, of course. And the Ravens, who their defense has been absolutely getting bitched literally every game so far this season. Other than the Browns game, but in the other two games, they've let up 40 points combined. Not 40 points combined, 80 points combined. What do they have? 87 points combined between the Lions and the Bills. The Browns only put up 10. Not great. No Namadi Badabuke for the Ravens either. Harbaugh has been very weary of disclosing the injury and saying how hurt he actually is, which isn't a good sign. He is their best defensive line player anyways. They're still missing Kyle Van Noy. So this pass rush will have a tough time against the Chiefs' offensive line. However, the Chiefs' run game is almost non-existent. So that has been a big, no-no for the Ravens, as teams can just run all over them, essentially. And, if they can slow down Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, which they should be able to, regardless of who they're missing in that front seven, just key in on where Xavier Worthy is, key on where Taekwon Thornton is. I do think the Ravens should win this one, and I would think that the Ravens win this one not fairly easily, but I think that this is going to be a big moral victory, big boost for them on the road. We'll see. But again, the people have talked about the Chiefs defense, they've looked good. I don't think the Chiefs defense really has looked good. They haven't really played They played the Giants last week, and Russell Wilson might be the worst starting QB in football that week. And who did they play the week before that? Because it also wasn't... they played the Eagles, but that one the Eagles didn't realize they could throw the football. So I'm interested to see how the Chiefs' defense does hold up. I do think the Ravens are going to win this one, though. We'll keep going. Where are we at here? On to the Sunday night game here. Packers at Cowboys. Packers minus 6.5. Total set at 47.5. The return of Micah Parsons. The Packers are going to kill them. Like, this is going to be, if there was ever a revenge game of revenge games, this is it. Parsons said it's going to hurt when he, eventually does sack Dak. And I don't know if he means, I'm going to physically hurt Dak, or it's going to hurt him emotionally because Dak is his friend. I think it's a bit of both. This defense is going to cause absolute havoc for the Cowboys. No CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys in this one, too, so they just have to focus on stopping George Pickens and Jake Ferguson through the passing attack. Obviously, Turpin and Tolbert are there, too, but, who are we kidding? The young offensive line will have their hands full with Parsons and Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness. And then, this terrible Cowboys defense going against I think where the ceiling is for what the Packers offense could be is very high. And right now they're slightly above average offense right now. And I think this is a game where Jordan Love has not a big breakout game because we've seen Jordan Love play that game before. But Matthew Golden, I think this is going to be his breakout game. Obviously still no Jaden Reed in this one. They're looking for someone to take off the top of the defense. I think Matthew Golden is going to be that guy for them. He was their leading receiver last week. Didn't obviously amount to much. But I think that Matthew Golden, finally, him and Jordan Love connect on one of these long touchdown passes. I think Josh Jacobs is just going to run the ball down their throats. This is going to be an embarrassing game from the Cowboys. And what makes it even worse, and this is just, again, another added fuel to the fire for Micah Parsons if he didn't need more. He still has his suite in the Cowboys stadium. They did not give him his money back when they traded, and he tried. And then he tried to give it to Kenny Clark, and Kenny Clark's like, no, I'm good. My family's all too far away, and it'll just be... And Kenny Clark didn't need a suite. And so Micah Parsons has kept his suite, and now the Micah Parsons suite is going to be rocking in this one. Absolute bullshit from Jerry Jones, too, to just not refund him, because he could have sold that suite in a fucking second if he needed to. Micah Parsons is going to be pissed off. I think Micah Parsons is probably going to have a couple sacks in this one. We will see, though. And we're on to these Monday night games. We have two shitty games to talk about. The Jets at the Dolphins will be the first one. Dolphins minus 2.5. Total set of 45.5. The battle of the 0-3 teams. I would hope that Miami wins this one. Miami looked like a functional team against the Bills. The offense played well enough. The defense kind of played well enough. Just, again, some stupid mental mistakes, and it is what it is. But the Jets have not looked like a very functional team. They had that really good week one running the football against the Steelers, but the Steelers' defense has proven that they might have taken a couple steps back. Luckily for the Jets, though, they're now playing the Dolphins' defense, and the Dolphins' defense also fucking stinks. So I think that the Jets should be able to run the ball fairly effectively. That is what the Jets do best. Let me just see. Justin Fields, is he... No updates on a week 4 status. To me, that means that he is out. He was in concussion protocol, so if he's not clearing some of these stages already, so it looks like Tyrod Taylor will be starting again. I predict a big running game for the Jets if they have any shot of winning in this one. Miami on the other side, we're just better than the Jets. We're just more talented on almost every single level, except for offensive line and running back probably, but I don't know. let's run the ball. Let's give it to Ollie Gordon more. Let's, again, still give the ball to Achane because he is our best weapon. Spread it out with Waddle and Tyreek and Malik Washington. Darren Waller's going to play a few snaps. We'll see how that goes. I want the defense to show some life, show some fight, especially in this front seven, because, again, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Zach Seiler. It should be better. Zach Seiler has almost been non-existent this entire season, other than fucking up that punt and running into the punter. But yeah, I do think Miami should win this one. Am I biased? Of course I am. But Miami, at home, going against an already not great Jets team, if we lose this one, I might be firing time for McDaniel. Again, I believe we're going to win this one. I believe that we will be 1-3 after this week, and the Jets will be 0-4. We will see, though. And finally, last game up here, Bengals at Broncos. Broncos minus 7.5. Total set at 44.5. The Broncos win by 1 million. The Broncos should win by 1 million anyways. Again, I don't like Bo Nix. I don't think Bo Nix is a good quarterback. However, I don't think that anyone on the Bengals defense outside of Trey Hendrickson is even worth mentioning. And yeah, as not great as the Broncos offenses have looked, this is the week to get everything going, to get Bo Nix, not some chemistry, but just kind of get that connection going with Sutton, with Marvin Mims, with Troy Franklin. Run the ball effectively with Dobbins and RJ Harvey. Like, this is a get-right week for the Broncos on offense. Defense on the other side, keep doing what you're doing. You're going against, again, cover Jamar Chase, cover T. Higgins, let your front seven do whatever they want against the Bengals offensive line and Jake Browning. Like, again, Jake Browning is going to have another terrible game in this one. The Bengals are also just going to have another terrible game in this one. Jake Browning having to start against Brian Flores and then immediately going against the Broncos defense. Very, very tough for him. But yeah, this should be the Broncos offense looks competent. I will be betting on Bo Nix overs for like touchdowns and yards. I think that Troy Franklin didn't really get him involved much last week, but I think that there will be a couple deep shots taken to him where, I don't know, Troy Franklin to get like 70 yards and a touchdown is probably pretty juicy odds. Yeah, Broncos should win big, but that is the week 4 preview. I'm going to end it here. Nothing really to talk about or say to end it. Trying to think if there is actually anything that I could bring up. Oh, I guess one last thing that I completely forgot when talking about Jackson Dart and the Giants. So, Malik Nabers, one of the best wide receivers in football, unfortunately for him. So he's playing in his 19th game this coming Sunday, and Jackson Dart will be the 6th QB that he has played with in his 19 games so far. That's an absolutely crazy stat, and the fact that Nabers has still put up consistent, very good numbers over, like, again, his rookie season and then, like, the start of this season. But 6 different starting QBs in 19 games is nuts. Hopefully Jackson Dart is the guy for Nabers. I have some thoughts. I have some issues on it. But, yeah, had to throw in that stat there to end it. And now I will end it. So, as always, if you have liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe. All that fun stuff. Tell all your friends. And until next time, peace.